Hello, it's Jim Hutchins for the Jerusalem Connection Truth Report for this week. Well, just when we thought we couldn't have a greater surprise than the election of President-elect Trump, there's news coming out of Israel today. Not a lot is being made of it, but for those who are watching the news with an eye to the scriptures, it's very, very significant. It is as significant as what took place in AD 70 when the Romans destroyed Jerusalem and the Temple Mount. The temple that was destroyed. Perhaps 1948, when Israel became a nation, would be a second momentous event. But if this occurs, this will start the prophetic clock to tick, for sure. This comes from a religious news organization called Breaking Israel News. It says this. I want to read part of it. The nascent Sanhedrin, the newly elected Sanhedrin, ruling body of Orthodox Jews, is calling on Russian President Vladimir Putin and U.S. President-elect Donald Trump to join forces and fulfill their biblically mandated roles. A call to fulfill their biblically mandated roles by rebuilding the Jewish temple in Jerusalem. This rabbi and the Sanhedrin think that's part of the divine mandate on Putin and Trump. Rabbi Hillel Weiss, a spokesman of the Sanhedrin, contacted Breaking Israel News to announce that the election of Trump, who has promised to recognize Israel or Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, coupled with Putin's expressed desire for the temple to be rebuilt, prompted the Jewish court to send a letter offering the two the opportunity to act as modern-day Cyrus figures, the Persian king that promoted the establishment of Jerusalem after the Babylonian captivity. These were non-Jewish kings who recognized the importance of Israel and the temple. Rabbi Weiss says he explained that the U.S. elections have made the eternal Jewish dream a very real possibility. He goes on, we're poised to rebuild the temple. The political conditions today in which the two most important national leaders in the world support the Jewish right to Jerusalem as their spiritual inheritance is historically unprecedented. Historically unprecedented. And he goes on to tell about when Putin visited the Western Wall in 2012. An Israeli bystander called out to the Russian, "Welcome, President Putin." And Putin approached the man who explained the importance of the Temple Mount and Jewish temple. And a news organization reported that Putin responded by saying, "That's exactly the reason I came here, to pray for the temple to be rebuilt." To pray for the temple to be rebuilt. Rabbi Weiss says the leaders of Russia and America can lead the nations of the world to global peace through the rebuilding of the temple, the source of peace. Rabbi Weiss explained this will offset the disgraceful UNESCO resolutions that are the root cause of increasing terror and violence. I would just simply say that this would be a monumental event. Historically, it is of biblical proportions if this actually takes place. It will sometime. Matthew 24:15, Jesus refers to it as an event that will take place, that assumes the existence of a temple. Revelation 11, chapter 11, verse 1, speaks of the existence of a temple that is evaluated and measured at that time. But the critical text, I think, is from 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, where God says this, "Don't let anyone deceive you in any way. That day will not come, the day of the Lord, the day of unprecedented wrath of God being unleashed upon those who oppose him. That day will not come until the rebellion or the apostasy, the departure from the faith on the part of believers until the apostasy occurs and the man of lawlessness, the Antichrist, till he is revealed. The man doomed to destruction, he will oppose and will exalt himself over everything that is called God and his worship, so that he sets himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God. Proclaiming himself to be God. Jesus refers to it, Matthew 24, verse 15. When you see that happen, get out of Dodge and do it quick. That day's coming. Is this what we're reading today? The prophecy being fulfilled of that day? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if Putin and Trump actually follow through on something like this. But if they do, the time has come to bring your seat backs and tray tables to the upright position. Fasten your seat belts, for a time of unprecedented tribulation is coming on this earth. And that's the truth.